Download the file to watch the video before and after color grading without YouTube's compression. A few days ago, I have re-watched one of my favorite movies of all time, Catch Me If You Can by Steven Spielberg, and I found its visual aesthetics to be very pleasing, filmic-looking and cinematic. So I thought, could I imitate the look of this movie with my iPhone 14 Pro Max with the right knowledge and software? And what characteristics of film make it look so organic and beautiful? After a small research, I found that Catch Me If You Can was shot on 35mm film Kodak Vision 320T. And I've decided to take a closer look at 4 key visual factors that stood out to me the most in this movie: color, film grain, halation, and bloom. So I've used the best film emulation plugin, Dehancer Pro, to try to emulate all of those 4 factors as best as I can. Dehancer is available for desktop editing software, but recently they've made a version for iOS with video support, so you can have almost full functionality of it in the palm of your hand. If you want me to make a full review of Dehancer Pro mobile app, comment down below, and the full review and tutorial of the desktop version is in the description. So let's have a closer look at first 2 aspects, color tone and film grain in Catch Me If You Can. Especially in the indoor scene, we see a lot of cyan color, it's kind of blue tint and it's a pretty cold color. Also in some outdoor scene we see a lot of warm colors as well, but now let's pay attention on the film grain. As you can see guys, on the wall behind this character we have a ton of noise and film grain. It's actually a characteristic of this film, not a drawback. So in this case, the grain is looking pretty good, I hope on YouTube as well. Dehancer Pro has dozens of film stock emulations that are the real scans from actual film, so here is a little demo of what you can achieve with this plugin and different presets. I have to note that most of those effects can be achieved with other paid or free software, but Dehancer Pro is much more advanced and precise for film emulation, and I do prefer this plugin. So the next effect we're going to look at is bloom. So guys, as you can see on this scene, especially around the hair of Leo DiCaprio, we see a ton of bloom effect, and you can see it especially well against the lamp behind him. So here is an example of the bloom effect in Dehancer Pro versus ungraded footage from the iPhone. Just pay attention to the bricks and especially the branches. They look so crisp and so unnatural and over-sharpened with the real footage from the iPhone, but with the Dehancer plugin and bloom effect, we see much softer branches and especially bricks. I have to admit that most likely in Catch Me If You Can they were using the Pro Mist filters or some kind of diffusion in front of the lens, so I have a full video comparing the Black Pro Mist filter of different strength with the Dehancer Pro bloom effect. If you're interested, I'll leave a link down below. Also in this scene you can see a lot of bloom effect, but also the halation effect. Halation is the effect that occurs when the bright areas of an image appear to softly bleed around the edges of dark areas. This is caused by the light going through the emulsion layer, bouncing off the base of the film and exposing the adjacent emulsion. Most of the time it appears as red contours, but sometimes it can be yellowish as well. In my video, you can see the effect of halation on this cross and in this area of this church, and also on this little light pole or something, you can clearly see the red contour around it. So it's a very common thing to see on contrasty objects when you look at film. Also, there is global halation. You can see that by the faces of the characters. They look a little reddish or orangish. It's also because of the halation effect partially. And in this scene, you can clearly see all of the effects: the color, the film grain, halation, and bloom. And to be honest guys, I really like the look of this movie. One more key factor when working with iPhone's footage is film resolution in Dehancer with film grain effect. So basically what it does is lowers the resolution, but it does it in a very soft and gentle way. Imagine that the film grain itself is getting bigger, thus lowering the resolution. And here is the example of this effect before and after. You can clearly see the difference between over-sharpened look of the iPhone itself. It's by the way shot in cinematic mode at f7.1, and also you can see at 300% crop how bad it is looking on the iPhone and how good and soft it looks with the Dehancer Pro. In my opinion guys, once again, Probably you do enjoy the over-sharpened look with all the wrinkles and all that stuff, but I don't like it. I do prefer softer image, it looks much more pleasing to my eye. Speaking of cinematic mode, you have to know how to work with it, and I have a huge video tutorial on cinematic mode. You can watch it and the link is down below, but what you need to do is to step down the lens not to have this gross artificial blur effect. And of course, guys, the cinematicness of your video is not only about the color, film grain and all that, it's about lighting, color, composition, background blur, shutter speed, sound design, and I talk about all of those factors in my video review. And especially it's about the composition. So apply the rules of composition like I show you in those examples, and I hope you did see the rules of composition I've used in my today's video as well. So just go there, watch this video after you finish watching this one. And one of my favorite tricks with the iPhone is to shoot very high contrasty scenes by lowering the exposure. You can get some awesome shots, and I showed you this shot in today's video as well. Hope you enjoyed it. And of course, guys, do not forget about sound design, and I hope you also noticed that I've worked with it a little bit in today's video as well. To conclude, it is possible to fake film look even with your iPhone, and if it's something you like, there is limitless amount of combinations of film stocks and effects in Dehancer to play around with. Using a coupon code in the description below, you can get a nice discount on purchasing Dehancer Pro. Enjoy creative freedom, guys, and make your iPhone footage look the way you want. I hope you did enjoy this video and the views of Georgia, and if yes, feel free to smash the like and subscribe buttons and the notifications bell. See you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye.